Hello and welcome in another video from the camera series. My name is Marcin and today we are going to talk about optics. Before known as lens correction, this is often overlooked and it's especially misunderstood but can be very powerful when we need to fix some small issues with our images. Before we start, I just want you to know that on the daily basis I work as the retoucher and this is what I teach. So I teach professional retouching techniques. If you want to learn professional retouching from someone who works in the industry, I want to invite you to my website retouchingninja.com where you can find all of my premium courses. Back to camera. We are going to work on this amazing image, and as amazing as it is, it has some issues. So often when we take an image, probably more likely when we take outdoor image, we might get some of the vignetting and we don't need to like it. So this is the first issue we might get. The other issue is something that is called chromatic aberration. This image doesn't have so much of this, but when you see that your object that you photograph has some of this weird distortion of colors that look a little bit like the 3D picture that you are able to see correctly when you put 3D glasses, this would be chromatic aberration, this blue shadow over here. But also we have the other thing that is very similar and it's fringing. It would appear on the edges usually. So we have greens and purples here. So we have a lot of issues on just this one image, and all of these issues can be solved by working with the optics panel in camera. So first thing I want to show you is the profile corrections. If you press this button, you can fix the vignetting that appears on your image, and also you can fix some distortion that could be caused by the lens. So the one first thing I always do with my image, I use profile corrections to make sure that I compare the image before and after and choose what I like more. We can adjust this a little bit more by opening this profile corrections. We can see the lens profile that the image was taken with, and we can correct more the amount of distortion that we have over here. The changes will be very settled whether we will be adjusting vignetting or distortion. I rather trust the auto profile corrections, and usually I don't do any more work over here. So let me go back to what we started. We can also work manually with these profile corrections by choosing this sub panel manual, and we can adjust from the start the distortion and vignetting over here. So I don't like to work manually. It's really difficult to guess what would be the right distortion and right vignetting on the image. So usually I trust this use profile corrections. Now let's move to another issue. So another issue that I mentioned was some of the chromatic aberration, which is not that big on this image. It would usually happen on the outdoor image, and it's really rare issue. But let's see what will happen when we choose this remove chromatic aberration. As you can see before and after, I will try to zoom even a little bit more if I can. So this is before. As you can see, we have this blue shade over here, as I said, and once we choose this, it disappears. So if you have something on your image, you know how to correct this. And now the next issue that we had, which is fringing. So fringing appears on the edge, and it always has the form, the purple or green, might be sometimes a little bit different, going into yellow colors, but always similar to purple or the green. So how we can correct this? We can choose the sample of the fringe with this eyedropper, and then of course trying to locate the right color. So as you can see, we are able to choose the green amount, and it was redust. Probably to see a little bit more, I should zoom in and try to define more of these colors. So I will sample the fringe, get it somewhere here. I can see in some cases it doesn't really work that well, but it helps us to redust some of the green, and it finds the hue that we have in the fringing here. Usually it will not solve the issue, so I like to do maybe extend this range a little bit more, and I can see not all the fringing is removed, so I'm increasing the amount here. I don't like to be shy of the amount. This is really important for me, so I try to solve this. And also we have this purple amount that would be maybe difficult to find over here. We can try with this eyedropper. It did find some of this. As you can see, it solved it nicely, but still I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it goes that far into oranges. I think it should be focused over here in the purple and increase the purple amount here. So now when we would look at this, you can see before and after we solve the problems with the colors here. Of course, we can try to adjust it more. I still see some of the discoloration here, so the more we do, probably the more we can remove. But also, what is really dangerous here and important, we might affect some other parts of the image, and this is what I wanted to show you here. When you look at this eyebrow, it wasn't looking like this, and what you see now, it lost the color. So what would be better? Remove less from the hair or lose the color here. So of course with this area here we can fix it later in Photoshop, but maybe we could try to adjust this a little bit better so it would not affect this area. Let's see what's the skin color here. I will try to find it here, and that's what I thought. It gets too far into oranges, so I would decrease this range to 70, increase this range to 40 here. Let's see if we did not remove some of the blue over here. I want to see if I can fix this area on the eye here. It's going to the blue, but I also don't want to affect some of the other areas of the image. But as you can see on the eye, we still have problem. We would not fix it completely, so it could be better to leave it for later in Photoshop and be focused on these areas to not do mistake and make sure everything looks right. When it comes to the green, I still see some of this. I will do 30, and as I don't have much of the green, I could see that I can increase a lot of this. So these were the corrections. You can see that these things are really important. They are visible, so it's better to look this up and make sure our image doesn't have these issues. And once we fix it, we need to make sure that we didn't affect some other areas and do not destroy the image. For now, thank you for watching. I hope this video was useful. Next week, another video on camera software, and in few days, another Photoshop tutorial. Thank you, and see you next time.